Okay, so in preparation for this week's dinners on the low sodium side, we are going to prep some dried beans. Have you ever done this? Super simple, super simple. So what you want to do is any kind of bean that you want, you can use, whatever you like. So I'm going to take my colander and I'm going to fill this bowl with water. But I'm going to put 2 cups of beans in my colander. And what I'm going to do is sift through them, look for any pieces, anything that doesn't look good, any little, see like there's little halves and stuff in here. Just kind of go through them. Because you could also find little pebbles too, so, and you don't want that in your beans. All right, so now what I'm going to do is rinse these really well. Don't spill your water like I did. Spilt water everywhere. Made a big mess. That's okay. All right, so now what I want to do is rinse this, pull out any, if you have, see like there's little tiny pieces of stuff in here. I'm just gonna pull that all out and look through them, make sure I'm not missing anything. Because you want all nice beans in your pot. So what I'm going to do is the soak method, which means after I've rinsed these, I'm going to put water in the pot and it's going to sit overnight. And then tomorrow, I will cook them. I'm not seeing anything else. This looks really good. Oh, there's one. Give it a final look. Can you see? Oh, see, look at that. There's a half one that was hiding. Give it a final look, and as you're pouring it in your pot, look some more. Now that they're, so you don't miss anything. Another half. There's one that's just, I don't know, just a little funky. We'll take that out. Yeah, there's some at the bottom. So you're gonna find like little chunks like that. Try and leave those in your colander and not get them in your pot. All right, this is looking good. Push the pieces all over to the side. you don't get those in there. All right, see that? There's a bunch of little pieces in there. Can you see? And they're all rinsed. So now you can throw away your rinse water and get fresh water. And you're gonna want a pan big enough so you can fit 10 cups of water. Look through the beans, see if you see any more. Yep, there's a funky one. Okay, I'm gonna well, let me fill up my water first. Here's 8 cups. I'm gonna pour that right in. 2 cups. Let me get rid of this dirty water. Okay, now that we have rinsed our beans, we are going to put our lid on, and it's just gonna sit on the counter. I'm gonna sit it on the counter for 24 hours until the next day. I think there's other ways to do beans, like you don't have to wait a full 24 hours. But I want to wait the full 24 hours. And tomorrow, we'll cook them up in preparation of our dinners. Okay, my beans are going to sit for 24 hours on the counter and just leave them be till tomorrow. It's snack time, and I just went through all my cans, hoping I had some canned chickpeas so I could make some hummus. I don't have any. I'll have to put that on the list. So today we are making fresh pan spaghetti with fresh tomatoes. And this way we can control the salt that is in our sauce, because we are not using a store-bought sauce. We are going to cook down some tomatoes. And I'm using just a regular tomato, store-bought tomato. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomatoes. I'm going to cut up some onion and some garlic, and we're gonna start with some olive oil in our pan. Okay, I have chopped up 1 small onion and 3 cloves of garlic, and that is going to go in our oil. Oop, watch out for pieces. I'm going to start to saute that, and while that's sauteing, I have washed my tomatoes and I'm gonna core them. And then I'm just going to slice them up like this. The smaller you slice them, the quicker your sauce is going to make. And because we're doing a low sodium dish, we are not going to add any salt. So I'm going to finish cutting up the tomatoes, and then we're going to let this saute, and we'll be back. Okay, we have sauteed our onions and our garlic in our olive oil, just for a few minutes to get that going. Now we're going to add all of the tomatoes that were cut up. For some spice, we are going to add some onion powder. Just sprinkle around. Some garlic powder. Oh, that one's not working. We'll open a new one. sprinkle some garlic powder. You want to add some parsley. Some basil. And some oregano. Not a lot. I'm going to add some pepper. And then I'm going to add 2 bay leaves. Let's see. And then I'm just going to let this simmer until our tomatoes start to cook down. Throw our basil in there, our bay leaf. So now we just need our tomatoes to cook down. And it's going to make a beautiful sauce. And we'll be back. So you know what I completely forgot to do was take the skins off the tomatoes. So I should have boiled my tomatoes, peeled the skins before I put them in the pan, and I just was not thinking. So what I'm doing is looking for all the skins, which if I boiled them to begin with, I wouldn't have to go through this process. But the skins come right off. You can see them. See them right there? And just pull them right out. Next time I won't forget to boil them, huh? Who wants skins in their sauce? Nobody. So this is really starting to boil down nice. I am going to start my water, and I have taken out our last batch of our meatballs from our big batch meatballs, and that video is online in my playlist. See how that's cooked down? Look at that nice sauce. And I'm just going to continue to let this simmer while our water is getting ready for our pasta. So I chose an organic pasta, which is a small spiral pasta. And this pasta has 0 milligrams of sodium. So the only thing that is going to have some sodium in it is the meatballs, because the meatballs do have cheese in them. But, I really don't think it's a lot. So I am going to consider this meal a low sodium meal. Now normally I would put ricotta on and Parmesan cheese, and I'm not going to do that. Ricotta has about 65 milligrams of sodium per quarter cup, and the grated Parmesan, the kind in the green containers, that's 100 milligrams of sodium. I don't recall how much for 100 milligrams. So this is going to be a very low sodium dinner. Okay, our pasta is done. So what I like to do is add some of the pasta to the pan spaghetti and let it sit for just a minute. Don't forget to pull out your bay leaves. Oh, there's a skin I missed. There we go. There's our first dinner of low sodium pasta. It's the next day, and we are going to continue to prepare our beans. So, over here, my beans have been sitting for 24 hours. Oh, look! Looks really good. Let me bring you close. Here's what my beans look like after soaking for 24 hours. There's a little bit of foaminess on there, but very little. This is very nice. Not crash everything out of the cabinets. So let's start over. So first we have to drain our beans. We will do that first. Okay, so after you've soaked your beans for 24 hours, what you want to do is rinse them really well. And that's what I'm gonna do now, and I'll be back. Okay, I have rinsed my beans really well, and they look beautiful. They really do. So I'm going to put this back in my pan. And while you're rinsing and going back through, make sure you look for anything that you might have missed. Look at that, there's one that just kind of split, so I'll pull that out. Oh, there's a half one. I'll pull that out. Okay. Now what you want to do, once you've rinsed really well, put them back in your pot and you're gonna add your 10 cups of water once again. So you're soaking them in 10 cups. And then we're going to cook them in 10 cups. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put that on my stove. And I'm going to, if you have anything floating that you need to take out, like a skin, like there's a skin right there, sticking my fingers in there. Pull that out. I'm going to put this on medium high. And we are going to put the cover on. But what I need to happen is it needs to slow simmer, like medium simmer. You don't want it to boil because you don't want your all your beans to start falling apart on you. And if they boil, they're just going to get too soft. Here's another skin. So medium high to get this going. Put my top on and I'm gonna watch it for a medium simmer and we'll be back. Okay, look at the beans. They are getting warmed up. They have a little bit of a bubble in there, which is fine. We just don't want them to boil. So, and we have some steam coming up. Can you see how well they're doing? So now if it starts to go too high, I'll turn it down to low to medium and I'll put the cover on and I'm gonna let them simmer for 30 minutes. I'll pull one out and check for doneness and we'll be back. Okay, look, this is exactly what you want. You want just a slow simmer, no boil. I was able to keep it on medium high. And it's doing fine. So now I'm gonna set my timer for 30 minutes and we'll check them. No, it started boiling. It started coming out from under the top. Don't do that. All right, now we are turning it down to low to medium. I do not want that boil in there. And I have moved my pot over so it can calm down. And I will put it back on. I think I'm gonna leave the top off this time too. Well, till it slows down, till it calms down some. And my burner calms down some. Okay, we've calmed down from our boil over. I think we're okay. So I'm gonna put the lid back on. And be careful not to do that again, Linda. Okay, it has been 30 minutes, so let's check for doneness. We have a nice slow simmer. Oh, they're feeling nice. They look beautiful. Look at those beans. I think once you make your own beans, that because you can make them whatever way you want to, you'll always do this. I know I'm going to, because I am doing this. I have to lower my salt content, and this is why I'm doing this. Oh, look at that. Did you see that? Let me do that again. Okay, so we're just testing. See how done they are. Okay, ready? Look at that. That's nice. Oh, they're nice. Now, oh, they're really hot. So hold on. Don't do that. They have a little crunch to them. Do I want that? No, I really don't. I'm going to give them 10 more minutes and we'll be back. Okay, it's been 40 minutes for our beans. Let's check them. Oh, they feel better. Okay, ready? Let's look. Oh, that's nice. See how that was nice and soft? That's perfect. Okay, so now what you do when your beans are done, you turn them off, let them sit just for a few minutes. And the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of salt, but I'm not gonna do a whole tablespoon. I'm gonna do some pink Himalayan salt, and I'm only gonna do a half teaspoon. And I'm just gonna sprinkle that in, and I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes. At this point, if you want to, you can add your other spices, and you can put as much salt or no salt if you don't want to. You can add a bay leaf, you can do other herbs, whatever you would like. Don't rinse them again. You're just going to drain them, put them in the fridge, use them in your fresh meals for the rest of the week. You can also freeze them if you want. So I'm going to let the salt sit in there for just a few minutes, about 5 minutes or so. Let the beans kind of start to cool off a little bit, and then I'll drain them, and I'll be back. Okay, our beans have been sitting for a good 10 minutes or so. So I am going to start to put them in my jar. But first what I'll do is I will let them cool off some more in my bowl. Look at how beautiful they came out. Now these beans have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Oh, let me get an example. Here is a can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas. It has 440 milligrams in a 1/2 cup. That's a lot of salt. You can get dried chickpeas and make your own and put no salt in, or reduce it like I did, because the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon. And look at my beans. They're beautiful. I'm gonna let them cool off, and they're gonna be used all week in some recipes. Thanks for watching my video.